have a great company. I've done a great job, which if I run, you'll see what a great job, because I'll do a full disclosure of finances.
Including your tax returns?
We'll look at that. Maybe I'm going to do the tax returns when Obama does his birth certificate.
All right, Donald Trump is not the only one weighing in on President Obama's birth certificate in that debate. My next guest says that he could put the whole issue behind him once and for all if he just does one simple thing, release the birth certificate. Joining me now is Minnesota Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann. How are you? Welcome to New York.
I'm doing great. Good
to see you. Well, at one point we're saying this isn't a big issue.
It isn't.
Okay. Well, then, but you want him to show it? Should he show it?
No, I was asked a question in an interview, and what I said is, look, this is the easiest problem to solve. All the president has to do is show it, and all the Republicans are being asked to attest to the authenticity. And all I'm saying is there's only one person who can attest to the authenticity, and that's the clerk of court in the county where he was born. So everybody should run there, ask the clerk of court, solve this thing.
Well, apparently they can't legally give the birth certificate. The person himself would have to ask for it. Do you think he should just go the next time he's in Hawaii, get the certificate, show it to everybody, and move on?
Yeah, I just think let's just solve this and get it over with. I mean, we have so many other bigger fish to fry. Why are we focusing? You
don't even think it should be discussed?
Well, no. I mean, people are curious about it, and I think that that he should just solve it and let's be done with it.
All right, you are in the process of making a decision. You're thinking about running for president. Where are you in that process?
Well, we're visiting all the primary states right now, and it's been fabulous. We started out the week in Iowa. I was in Washington, and then we went to South Carolina for 3 days, and I just came back from New Hampshire. And people are fed up with President Obama, and they want a change. And we have had a wonderful reception wherever we've gone, and I'm really encouraged.
All right. Does that make you more likely because the crowds are big? You raised more money, I think, last year than any other member of Congress.
I did. Than any other member of Congress. In the history of Congress. We've raised more money than anyone. The history of Congress and the House of Representatives. And last quarter, I raised more money than any of the other candidates, even Mitt Romney, thinking about running for president.
All right. Well, so what is getting in the way? What is preventing you from making that decision sooner? Well, what is your time frame?
You've often heard candidates say they have to know that they have the fire in the belly, and they have to be convinced that this is the right thing. That's what my husband and I are doing right now. And part of it is, we're Christians and we pray about these things, and so we're trying to know that we know that we know that this is exactly what we should be doing right now. And I think that it's reasonable to say we have to make a decision by June because the Iowa straw poll is August. So we're already laying groundwork. We're putting a team together in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. Yep. So we're doing the deal, but to actually make the decision, we have to know that all of our pieces are together, and then we have to decide no later than sometime in June. We may decide before. It's entirely possible.
You saw what the S&P said, downgrading and saying there's a better than 33% chance that America's not going to be able to deal with its debt properly. You saw the White House's reaction. They went on the attack against the S&P, which I thought was pretty interesting. But we're now about to have a debate over the debt ceiling. You were at odds pretty much with the leadership over the 2011 budget. You have confidence that they're going to fight hard and hold out for major concessions in this battle over the debt ceiling?
Well, of course, that's our hope that they do that. And that's what the expectation is of the people. Again, I think at least 2/3 of the American people are just saying, no, don't raise the debt ceiling at all. And I think that what we have to take off the table is the fact that we are not going to see the full faith and credit of the United States harmed in any way. I think we should pass Tom McClintock's bill from California that says we're going to pay all of our bills first. We're going to pay our interest first before anything else. And what it means, Sean, is we pay our bills, and then the money left over, we prioritize our spending.
Do you think, is there consensus within the Republican caucus, the leadership? Are they giving you any indication that, hey, this is a fight worth having? Barack Obama didn't vote to raise the debt ceiling as a senator in 2006, and he said we've got to be more responsible for our kids and our grandkids. Actually, one of the few times I agreed with Obama. He was senator then. But is that your position, or do you think you're going to find yourself at odds again with the Republican Party?
It's possible I might be at odds with the Republican Party again. I know very clearly what people are telling me in my district in Minnesota and from around the country. They're saying we're tired of giving the government more authority to borrow money. 41 cents of every dollar we spend is borrowed. I couldn't live like that for 2 months in my own finances. The government can't.
What deal would it take for you to support raising the debt ceiling?
The only way that I could do that is if we'd see a defunding of Obamacare, a complete defunding. And, of course, I'd like to see spending caps as well. We can't do what we're doing, and Standard & Poor's told us that. That's the canary in the mine. Yeah. And so now we know that we're in trouble if we don't change course.
All right, so would a balanced budget amendment, defunding Obamacare, caps on spending, those would be things that if they pass that, then you would agree to...
I would give it very strong consideration. What I've said so far is raising the debt ceiling alone, I can't do it. I cannot do it. I think what we need to do is be very honest and, again, let people know what it means if we don't raise the debt ceiling. We have to take that issue off the table about maintaining the full faith and credit of the American people, but then we have to show them what the spending choices would be, too.
All right, Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sean.
All right, and let not your heart be troubled. Our great, great, great American panel. Straight ahead. And tonight on our great, great American panel, he's a former pollster for Jimmy Carter, an advisor to George McGovern's presidential campaign. Fox News contributor Pat Goodell is here. She is a conservative columnist for the Daily Caller. Jedediah Bila is back. He is a kicker in the NFL. He left my favorite team, the Jets. He abandoned us, stabbed us in the back, and can't even get me a Mark Sanchez jersey.
I'm working on it, Mark. Will you help me out, please?
Well, I mean, I asked you 3 months ago. All right, let's go to Trump, Obama on GMA. And I want to compare. Watch, 7 times Stephanopoulos interrupts Donald Trump. Compare it to only 1 time during the campaign that Obama was asked about Bill Ayers. Let's roll this tape so you can see it in its entirety.
Karl Rove, again over the weekend, saying you're a joke candidate if you continue to raise questions about President Obama's citizenship. There is no question. He's got a certificate of live birth that is recognized by the State Department.
I know exactly what you're getting at.
The facts.
There's a gentleman named William Ayers. He was part of the Weather Underground in the 1970s. They bombed the Pentagon, the Capitol, and other buildings. He's never apologized for that. And in fact, on 9/11, he was quoted in the New York Times saying, "I don't regret setting bombs. I feel we didn't do enough." An early organizing meeting for your state Senate campaign was held at his house, and your campaign has said you were friendly. Can you explain that relationship for the voters and explain to Democrats why it won't be a problem?
George, but this is an example of what I'm talking about. This is a guy who lives in my neighborhood, who's a professor of English in Chicago.
The only question. Gave speeches, sat on boards with, started his campaign in his house. Meanwhile, 7 times Stephanopoulos. Karl Rove said this. You said this. Give me the answer about the birth certificate. What is it? Is this basically a preview of coming attractions? Republicans will get killed. Obama gets a pass again?
Well, I don't think it should surprise any of us that, you go on certain stations, there's going to be certain commentators that are going to give you a pass and others that are going to challenge you. And if you're a Democrat, you're going to go on MSNBC or you're going to go on ABC. You're not going to come on Fox News with you because you know that you're going to be challenged. A Republican, if they go on one of those stations, is going to be challenged. If they come on here, you may be more inclined to allow them to explain themselves.
One question in toto. By the mainstream media. What
surprises you about this? George Stephanopoulos every day when Rahm Emanuel's chief of staff was on the phone with Rahm Emanuel, James Carville every morning on their continual phone call. You know, the difference is I think that if you've been in politics, you should bend over to prove that you're not just being a hack. I mean, most of the journalists, I keep saying Ali Obama is...
But isn't this bigger than Stephanopoulos? What about all the rest of the media?
No, the rest of it is 3,000 press secretaries, what Roger Ailes said. It's exactly right. Ali Obama is 3,000 press secretaries.
Now, what's the media...
On the one hand, though, I think it's good because I think it's giving them good practice because this is what they're going to need to be able to do. They're going to need to have, as Sarah Palin says all the time, a steel spine. They're going to need to be out there and willing to take this kind of stuff because let me tell you something, there's no way that you're going to get around, the media. There is no objective media in this day and age. And
I said this media is dead, and I got to tell you, this just highlights it, though. One question about Ayers, an unrepentant terrorist who bombed the Capitol, New York City Police Headquarters. What?
No, don't you understand? He was just a guy in the neighborhood.
Just a guy in the
No,
neighborhood.
but you're right. To be a great leader, to be the president,
but
you have to be you have to be confident but not cocky. You have to inspire your followers to follow you without allowing your ego to lead. I think that's somewhere where Trump could struggle. But you look at if we learned anything from Clinton, Bush, and then Obama, you win elections, presidential elections, by making a gut value connection with the independents and by inspiring your base. And I think that's somewhere where Trump could do well.
We got 6 states, the price of a gallon of gasoline now over $4 a gallon. Hawaii over $5. Let's take a look at the polls about this. And the question is, how do you feel about offshore drilling in U.S. waters? Well, if you look back to June of 2010, only 49% strongly mild favor and only and 51% opposed. Look at these numbers, 69%.
Yeah.
This may end up being the issue that for the economy and for oil prices, gas prices, this may be the end for Obama because he's doing nothing with the instability in the Middle East. He's doing nothing to lower gas prices.
The Democrats have been scared of drilling, whether it's in ANWR in Alaska or it's deep water drilling. If we've learned something from BP, we should learn that there needs to be protections and that those fail-safes have to be in place and you have to check them to protect our environment. But at the same time, 7% of the oil comes from deep water drilling. It's going to continue to grow. The estimates are it's going to be up to 10% in a few years, and we're going to have to continue as a country to look for sources for energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the issue that brings Republican, Independent, and Democrat voters together. Because I think we all realize that you can't talk about national security unless you talk about energy independence. It's all linked together. Energy independence, economic security, national security. And Barack Obama is out there spewing lies, talking about how we have 2% of the world's oil reserves. No, we don't. That doesn't count the Outer Continental Shelf, etc.
This issue is so big. I mean, we do have money that we can loan Brazil and Colombia so they can deep water drill.
Exactly.
Like we have money.
And we'll be your best customer, Obama said.
Yes. This notion of, the president, speaking of the press, 2 weeks ago when he went to Pennsylvania and made that statement, that let them eat cake statement on the 8 miles a gallon. But this issue is so huge about, it's not gas prices alone, it's food prices. And so far, he's been getting a pass. He's not with the voters. It's killing him.
We're going to come back, and when we come back, they want to ban tag. Dodgeball, tag, ring alivio, all of this. Jedediah is going to throw us out tonight. All right, Jedediah. Hey, wait. All right, let's see it. Go. More of the Great American Panel.
Good.
Before we continue with our Great American Panel, here are the results to our text voting poll. What do you think Donald Trump is going to do? Is he going to run for president? 73% of you said yes, 20% no, 7% you're not sure. And thanks to all of you who voted, is he going to run?
I think so. I do.
I think he is going to run, yes.
I think he's being edged toward running. I think he's going to do it. I think that I'm not sure I would run as a Republican if I were him, but that's his business.
No. You're a Democrat. You do not. The last thing.
He has said, though, that he may run as an independent.
He did, but he backed off it.
Or he doesn't want to hurt the Republicans.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And he would. It would be much like Ross Perot.
I think the reason he's so interesting when you interview him, he's a fun guy to be around, and he's so iconoclastic, and so I don't care what the world thinks of what I'm saying. I'm going to hit you with it.
By the way,
but his biggest challenge is what I'm going to say, Pat, is that he has had all these varying positions on raising taxes, on health care, abortion.
He's not a politician at different points. He's got a big message, and the big message is the country's in trouble, where the Chinese are kicking us.
Does that mean
sounds common sense. It's about common sense.
He understands business common sense. He knows how to do well in business.
But his argument about what's happening and being tough, and what he's doing is, I think the birther thing I wouldn't be doing, but I mean, taking the president on, he has really put him under the gun in a way nobody has done.
That is what he's done most effective. And I think there's a lesson for every candidate. Fight.
His greatest attribute is his ability to have a gut value connection. That's what he does with his golf course. That's why people pay $300,000 for the membership to belong to his golf course. He flies around weekly to each of the courses, meets with them, has dinner with them. Then they like to say, hey, I'm buddies with Donald Trump. That's what he can bring to this debate.
There's one big problem with Donald Trump for me, and that's that he's not a principled conservative. Say what you will about him. He's ambitious, yes. Is he in the face of the media and willing to take a stand?
That
yes.
is
But
his
I
big
want
question.
that. I think we can find that paired with a principled conservative, and I think that's the leading ticket for the GOP.
Well, I think
meaning the Trump spirit or Trump.
You can get somebody who's willing to take on the media and willing to call them out, and is a principled conservative and is going to drive home those points at the same time. That's the package.
Who is that?
Michelle Bachmann earlier tonight. She doesn't talk like Washington. That's why she's effective.
Sarah Palin.
Sarah Palin.
Yeah, exactly.
Donald Trump doesn't. Donald Trump's up there, and he's for someone who's well connected. He's very anti-establishment, and he is talking something the other people should at least listen to how he's willing to engage.
I agree. And Governor Palin excoriated the Republicans in that speech, saying they capitulated.
Fantastic.
All right.
Well, they did. They did capitulate.
So when we were all young, if you were anything like me, often in trouble, if I'm going to be
choir boy.
I was not a choir boy when I was young. You have no idea.
I was grounded, getting spanked.
You
Absolutely.
have no idea, Cadell. None. All right, but I got off the bus and I got on my bicycle. I had a paper out for many years, and I was gone. That doesn't exist anymore. You know, we were outside and we were playing football and basketball and hockey and everything, getting in trouble and doing all these things. All right, so kids today have play dates, which I can't stand that term. But now New York state legislators are banning wiffle ball, ring-a-levio,
Dodgeball.
dodgeball. Cadell, nothing would have made me happier as a kid to throw a ball at you.
This is ridiculous. This nanny statism is going to kill the entire spirit. Look, the young people have to learn. Used to play. This is insane.
It's insane. And then we tell kids. Then we tell
You wonder why they're all
we're worried
wussies.
about an obesity epidemic.
Yeah, I was
but
just
we can't
gonna
let them go out
say.
and play dodgeball.
Yeah, they can't play dodgeball, they can't play kickball, and now they can't have snacks that they're going to enjoy either. Between Michelle
Nor can they
Obama
bring their
and
lunch
this,
from
it's a
home.
disaster.
Cannot bring your.
Well, I'm
can't
going to
bring
disagree with you.
lunch from
I
home.
actually agree with
the madness.
If you're going to have 30 million kids on a federal lunch program, then you should have healthy lunches for those kids.
Yes, but that's not what she's doing. She's having backdoor meetings with the Restaurant Association. She's doing a lot more than recommending that people have their healthy
Hey, can I
lunches.
just say
If it was
something?
just that, it would be one thing.
I ate more junk. As a matter of fact, all I
did
did
I.
was buy.
Yeah, but just
junk.
because you did it doesn't mean that that's what we should do. If we're going to spend the money, buy healthy food and give our kids healthy
now I
food. We
eat
have the
healthy
obesity
living.
problem that we
Healthy
talked
living.
about.
Let me just say this: we're killing play for our children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're right.
This is the development of young bodies and minds and how you socialize, and you know, and it's not perfect and it's not easy, but there's a learning experience.
And
So
competition's
you can't go out and play
They don't let you
wiffle
win or
ball.
lose either. There's no way to
Oh,
lose.
that part.
Can't keep
No
score.
scorekeeping.
Yeah.
I refuse.
But we
that.
can't fire a teacher.
Gotta keep score.
My 4-year-old grandson, I keep score on the soccer.
Yeah,
He scores
as
a
if
lot
the
of goals.
kids don't. All right, that's
Yeah,
all the
right.
time we have left. Thanks for being with us. Greta's next. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for being with us.